Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's got federal employees across the US absolutely furious. Imagine getting a termination letter, expecting the usual bureaucratic jargon, but instead, it accuses you of poor performance, even though you've never had a bad review. That's exactly what's happening, and the outrage is spreading like wildfire. Is this a legitimate reason for mass firings, or is something else going on here? Stay tuned, because we're about to break it all down. Okay. So here's the situation. Over the past week, a wave of federal employees have been fired as part of what the Trump administration is calling an effort to uproot waste, fraud, and abuse. The Department of Government Efficiency, now headed by Elon Musk according to reports, is spearheading this initiative. They offered buyouts, and when that wasn't enough, they started mass terminations, focusing on probationary employees, those who were recently hired. Now, here's the kicker. Many of these termination letters cite performance concerns as the reason for dismissal, but the fired employees are saying that's simply not true. USA Today reviewed 10 termination letters, and all but one mentioned performance as a concern. But here's where it gets infuriating. Employees interviewed by USA Today claim they were never warned about any performance issues. One hadn't even been there long enough for a performance review. Another was fired just a month after relocating over 1,700 miles for the job. And one employee even said his supervisor explicitly told him he wasn't being terminated for performance reasons. These workers feel like this language is a blatant lie, unfairly tarnishing their work records and potentially impacting their ability to get unemployment or find new jobs. As one fired U.S. Forest Service worker, Gavin Harmon, put it, it's a lie. It's simply not true. So, why would the government include this performance language if it's not accurate? Some employees believe it's an attempt to provide legal cover for the firings. A labor attorney, Greg Rinke, suggests the government might be trying to avoid classifying these terminations as a reduction in force, which would trigger additional legal requirements and take more time. He speculates that citing performance issues, even if it's boilerplate, is a faster and cleaner way to get rid of employees. But as Rinke points out, it's understandable why these probationary employees feel like their performance is being unfairly questioned. When asked about the performance language, White House spokesperson Harrison Fields gave a statement about President Trump's mandate to bring about unprecedented change and uproot waste, fraud, and abuse. He didn't directly address the specific language in the letters, but reiterated the administration's commitment to streamlining the federal government. This response has done little to quell the anger and frustration of the fired employees, who feel like they're being scapegoated for larger political goals. The termination letters themselves contain similar language across different agencies. They state that probationary employees must demonstrate why it's in the public interest for the government to finalize their appointment. And they conclude that, based on their performance, the agency doesn't believe they've met that standard. One fired Forest Service worker, Edith Robinson, sees this as a biased opinion of what's in the public interest, rather than a reflection of her actual work. Another employee, from the Small Business Administration, received a letter stating that they failed to demonstrate fitness for continued federal employment and that their ability, knowledge, and skills do not fit the agency's current needs. Elena Mozico, a fired data scientist from the Department of Veterans Affairs, was particularly incensed by the performance claim, arguing that she has an excellent performance record and plans to challenge her dismissal. She calls it an illegal termination, stating that it's impossible for thousands of people to suddenly have bad performance. Another fired employee, Chris Johnson, believes the performance language gives him grounds to appeal because he can point to positive performance reviews. These employees are not only dealing with the shock of losing their jobs, but also the added insult of having their professional reputations questioned. Beyond the legal and professional implications, these firings are having a devastating impact on people's lives. Brian Gibbs, a longtime environmentalist, lost his dream job as a park ranger with the National Park Service. He's now unemployed and worried about supporting his family, which includes a baby on the way. Haley Robinson, a biologist for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, had just relocated over 1,700 miles for her new job when she was fired. She hadn't even had a chance to get to know her co-workers or decorate her desk. These are real people whose lives have been upended by these mass firings. Unfortunately, legal experts suggest that probationary employees have limited recourse in challenging their terminations. Unless they can prove discrimination based on race, age, or another protected status, it's unlikely they'll win in court. As attorney Rinke puts it, the government can terminate anyone during their probationary period. This harsh reality leaves many fired employees feeling helpless and frustrated, knowing that their chances of overturning the decision are slim. Adding to the confusion and anger, some supervisors are telling their employees that the firings are not performance-based. Gavin Harmon, the Forest Service worker we mentioned earlier, said his supervisor explicitly told him his termination was not due to his performance and that it was being forced upon them from higher-ups. This disconnect between what employees are being told and what's in their termination letters only adds to the sense of injustice and betrayal. So, what's really going on here? Is this a legitimate effort to streamline the federal government, or is it a politically motivated attack on public service? The Trump administration claims it's about efficiency and accountability, but many see it as an attempt to dismantle government agencies and weaken protections for the environment, consumers, and workers. The use of potentially misleading performance language raises serious questions about the fairness and transparency of these firings. These firings could have significant consequences for the federal workforce and the services it provides. Losing experienced and dedicated employees can disrupt critical programs and undermine public trust in government. The chilling effect of these mass terminations could also discourage talented individuals from pursuing careers in public service. The long-term impact of these decisions remains to be seen, but it's clear that they're creating a climate of fear and uncertainty within the federal government. What do you think about these mass firings and the performance language in the termination letters? Are they justified, or is something more sinister at play? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're a federal employee or know someone who's been affected by these firings, please share your story. We need to hold our government accountable and ensure that all workers are treated fairly and with respect. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the issues that matter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.